So I went hiking with a couple of guys today. A lot of fun. We had a really good hike. Went down to Metcalf Bottoms and walked in to see Little Briar School. Up a little further, saw the Walker sisters' cabin and nice trail, not too steep. Nice couple of miles, so just over 4 miles total. Um, but while we were out just relaxing at the cabin, enjoying the mountain air, the quiet, the peacefulness, going, oh, this would be so cool to live here. Of course, we realized, that's a hard life they had living like that. But what for today, when you can just shut things off, sit in a cabin out in the middle of the woods, that's peaceful. And the air in the mountains, man, can't beat it. It's totally different. So, as a group of people we found up there at the cabin that kind of eavesdropping onto their conversation a little bit, and they're talking about the tribulation, the rapture, and Jesus coming, and different views that they had and whatnot. So, when we got ready to pack up and leave, we walked over, and that was a good in to, hey, I heard you talking about such and such, and carry on that conversation. And it was really cool. It was just that you get that kind of comfort, when you're amongst like-minded people talking about something that's very passionate for you. It kind of builds you up. Well, it was very much like that. Pretty cool conversation. Walk out of the woods, and we're all talking about it. We come down here to the food truck park, and we're still talking about it. And got thinking on my way home. Um, that to me, that's kind of like one of those aspects of we're to carry each other's burdens, right? Um, I think there's a lot of different avenues that can progress through, and part of it is to carry each other's burdens means to also have those moments of joy, of lifting up, of fellowship, of like, you know what? I'm not burdened at all by anything at the moment. I'm enjoying this beautiful conversation of something that we all feel strongly about. It energizes you. It's like there's this joy inside that's crazy. And I was thinking about it, as Christians, we understand that God's Old Testament temple has been torn down, it's not used anymore. The new temple is us, our bodies. God comes and dwells amongst us, with us. We are that temple, which is a crazy picture. If you read through the requirements of that temple and what it took to be able to enter into God's presence, to think that God just all of a sudden now becomes into our presence, like we don't deserve, shouldn't have that. That's crazy, but small squirrel there. But the point I was thinking of was, if the Spirit of God is dwelling amongst his followers, not just his believers, if I'm kind of big on there's a huge difference between a believer of God and a follower of God. Even demons believe, and a lot of those go to, you've seen them on the street. They believe, but they're demons. Be nice, Jim. Yeah, no, I'm trying. If his spirit is dwelling amongst us, and a group of us all filled with his spirit are having a wonderful conversation of him, the joys of him, the hopeful joys of what's to come, I kind of get the impression that part of that joy that we feel is not just our joy, but kind of a supernatural joy, meaning his spirit inside of us. He's joyful that his children are loving on him and bragging about him and what's to come. That brings him joy. So what if part of that, if I'm not being clear with this, we're feeling this joy literally from God's spirit being joyful because he's dwelling in us. We can feel that joy, and that's a part of maybe what we're feeling in those conversations. So not only we called together, don't neglect coming together. carry each other's burdens, build each other's up, talk about God's truths on your way to work, on your way home, as you play, write it on your doorsteps, on your foreheads. Like when you do that, I think you really, you're not just benefiting those around you, but you're allowing God to work amongst you to build up that joy. So that was my thought for today. Shorter video, but I thought that's where my mindset is at. Um, Curious what you're doing. Where are you finding that kind of a fellowship? Uh, is it at church? Is it people you know? Do you find it talking about God, things to come, things that are, things that give hope? If not, maybe you want to reach out and try that. I know it can take a while to find God. I need some people to provide that. I you and me is wonderful, but I need that human relationship other than the world's. I know them to be in the world and encourage them to find it, but that's kind of the burden sometimes, is having those conversations about God to people who don't believe, don't want to hear, or even worse, their mindset is completely wrong, and you know it's wrong, and you got to pray for them because you can't break through, but God could. God, would you choose to open their minds to the truth? They're on a dangerous path and they don't know it. They're convinced otherwise. Like, that's a burden. So, yes, we need fellowship, we need encouragement to go through those, but at times it's nice just to be with those who do believe, and the encouragement, the carrying of each other's burdens in a moment of joy, so relaxing. It's kind of like that's a brief moment of entering God's rest. So I encourage you, go find that. Go find a small portion of God's rest by talking with fellow believers about Him. Just enjoy His presence. Just enjoy their presence. And we'll see you next time.